Hello and welcome to another video on the Super Bits and Bobs YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be playing Ghosts and Goblins. As you probably gathered from my channel, it's one of my favourite series. Well, it is my favourite series of games. I'm not going to talk about the Ghosts and Goblins too much today, and what I'd like to do is sort of create a video for each version of the game that's available, Ghouls and Ghosts as well, and talk about the games a bit more then. Some of you may notice that this is not the original arcade PCB that I'm playing, so that kind of debunks my claim in my first video where I said everything would be played on original hardware. Unfortunately, as I'm sure you can imagine, it's an old PCB. Finding one is difficult, finding one in good condition is even harder, and finding when they do come up they're quite expensive, so I haven't picked one up yet, but it is on my shopping list. So for now we'll have to make do with the version that's on the Capcom Generations disc on the Saturn. For all intents and purposes it's a arcade perfect conversion, so what you're seeing is the arcade game. What I'd like to talk about while I'm playing today is the state of retro gaming in the UK from a consumer point of view. It's always been a real bugbear of mine, and popping into town today, I live on the east coast of Kent, so obviously not a mecca for retro gaming by any stretch of the imagination, but popping into a local shop today, it sort of hit home how bad things are and have always been, really, with regards to trying to buy retro games. I mean, of course I'm aware that these games have long since gone out of circulation and are not published anymore. But even so, I mean, there's the things that I notice when I go into a retro gaming shop, not just my local one. Three things really that I think are a real problem. The first one is the condition of the games and the cases. I really don't know what we did with that game sort of 15, 20, 25 years ago, but the condition of the boxes and the cartridges now is really, really bad. Even the sort of Mega Drive and Master System cartridge boxes that were, I think, regarded as pretty okay on the durability front, certainly in comparison to Super Famicom cartridges. Even they can look really, really, really bad. I mean, looking at a wealth of Japanese boxes. I don't know if they've got some sort of magic or fairy dust over there that they used to sprinkle on their games to keep them in good condition. But we lag far behind somewhere like Japan, and even some other places in Europe with regards to the condition of the games and the boxes. So that's oh god, that was terrible. Sorry, talking and playing Ghosts and Goblins is a recipe for disaster. So yeah, the condition is the first thing that's a real problem. The second thing is the availability. You only have to look at some of the videos from the guys that live in Japan. When they visit a shop like Super Potato, although I understand that Super Potato is one of the biggest shops, it's certainly not unusual. There's plenty of retro gaming shops in Japan with lots of software, where you see sort of walls and walls of Saturn games and Super Famicom games, and that's just something that I've never ever seen in this country. I've been to retro gaming shops in London and other parts of the country, and I've never ever seen it. Again, I don't know what we've done with the games. I'm not sure if at a retail level and a distribution level, companies in Japan sort of preserved these games and held on to them, and they found their way into the market. I really don't know. But that obviously doesn't account for the sort of the millions of cartridges that were sold in the UK, PAL versions, and it makes you wonder where they've all gone. Are they still sitting in people's lofts and garages? Were there lots available sort of in the distribution chain that were thrown away when the games became defunct? Are there so many retro gaming collectors in the UK that we've bought them all and they're all sitting on their shelves? I don't know, but again, sort of availability is we're way down on countries, sort of Japan, America, and other countries in Europe. So I think that's a bit of a problem. I think that the biggest problem, and I'm sure most people would probably agree, and that's the pricing. The shop I went into today, they had a wolf child on the Mega CD. Now I'm sure from their point of view, they probably don't see many Mega CD games in there. I think it's the only one of two that I've ever seen in there. but they were selling it for £25. Oh no, not the fire weapon. Holy smoke! They were selling it for £25 anyway, and I came back and had a check on eBay, and the cost of there were two auctions that finished quite recently. I think one of them ended at 99p, and someone had bought that one. Another one ended at about £15, which needless to say no one had purchased. And I mean, what that tells us is that you got someone who's willing to pay 99p for Wolf Child, but they're not willing to pay £15 for Wolf Child. And I think that says a lot. And I do wonder sort of where these guys get their pricing from. I can only assume that it's something that seems to be quite common. And becoming more common is that sort of people looking on eBay and effectively saying, well, that's what someone's selling it for on there, that's what I can get. Even so, I was still a bit surprised because, as I said, Wolfchild had sold for 99p, but when you look for auctions that are still going, particularly buy it nows, there's quite a few on there for sort of like £25-30. So I imagine this chap has looked on there, seen them for this price, and put it up in his shop. Now these games for this price are not selling on eBay with the massive audience that eBay has. So sort of a small sort of pretty rundown shop on the East Kent coast. I don't know how they ever think they're going to sell these games. It's quite amazing, really. But there you go. I mean, that seems to be the way things are. I was talking to a friend recently who sort of found a Super Nintendo. It would have been PAL version, with some unboxed games, at a car boot fair, and he wasn't really into retro gaming, and he came and had a word with me, and his initial impression was that he'd sort of struck a gold mine, that this guy sold him all this stuff for a fiver, and he was quids in, and he purely felt that way because of just what he'd heard. He'd sort of just heard that retro games are the new antiques, and if you can find something, there's a good chance it's going to be worth quite a lot of money. Obviously we know that generally that's not the case, but it does seem to be a bit of a myth that's going around, and it really holds things back. It's a shame, really. I mean, I live quite close to Canterbury, and another shop in Canterbury have had they've had some Neo Geo games on the shelf now for years since I've been going in there, and the prices they want for them. Well, I mean, when you see the prices, you can understand why they're still on the shelf, because they're looking for sort of prices twice as much as you can get them on eBay. And if they'd have been more reasonably priced, and the same goes for the Mega CD games, if they'd have been more reasonably priced, I'd have bought them. It's not a case of wanting something for nothing. I'm sort of quite willing, quite happy, and I think it's probably the right thing to do is to pay the right price for something from your own point of view and the person who's selling it. But it's got to be the right price. It's got to be reasonable. But some of the prices that you see are quite crazy, really. And the online retailers in the UK don't get away with it. There's a certain retro gaming magazine who, when they sort of do little features on games, sometimes now they'll say, well, this game's available from X retailer online, and I went to a couple of the online retailers today, the big ones in the UK, for retro games, and their price is no different. I was looking at some of the PC Engine games, quite obscure games, they're selling for like £15-20. Not something that you'd pay that for. These are sort of games where you could buy them in Japan on eBay, and with the shipping costs probably would still be cheaper than that. It's amazing, really. So I think all these things contribute to what I see as quite a poor situation with regards to the availability and of retro games and the quality of them in the UK. I don't see anything changing this. I think that what will probably happen is that the people who have heard that retro gaming is the new thing, and if you get something then it's probably worth something, these people will probably realise quite quickly that that's not the case. But as for retailers, I don't know. I mean, I think it's been going on for quite a while now with retailers, and I don't see it ever changing. Luckily in the UK for us, we've got a pretty good sort of private scene. There's a couple of private forums I go to and buy stuff, and the price is always reasonable. It's always a good price for the person buying and the person selling. It's always fair. So I think from a UK point of view, that's probably where we are. I don't know what other people's experiences are. Maybe where you live, there are sort of much better retro gaming shops, at least from an availability point of view, even if they're quite expensive. But certainly, sort of around my way, as it were, not particularly good. So yeah, so I mean, I think it's a shame really, because I think the scene could be a whole lot better. If availability and quality, if it was up to the standards of other countries, but unfortunately it's not. And obviously, these games have come and gone; they're not going to produce them again, so there's not much we can do about it, unless a sort of a load of people suddenly find a load of stuff in their loft that they've got was there, and they dig it out. But yeah, I just wanted to give you my feelings really on the consumer side of things from retro gaming point of view. I think I'll probably end the video now. I'll see if I can get to the second boss, which is effectively very similar to the first boss, except there's two of them. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if anyone's listening to the videos or not, but if they are, then yeah, maybe sort of just chime in with any any of your experiences of retro gaming, trying to buy retro games from a store. Sort of tell me how you've got on and what your experiences are. I'll just finish off the video now by dying to the second boss, because it's always a bit of a pain in the bum. Or maybe not, maybe we'll see the third level today. Yes, we will. As you can see, the third level is very similar to the first level in sort of layout. Certainly this section is anyway. Should have remembered that one fire's low. I don't think it's random. Oh, there we go. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I've probably put across really poorly what I think of the situation of buying retro games from shops in the UK, not just shops, from online retailers as well. And if you've got any thoughts or comments on that, then feel free to chime in. Thanks very much. Bye.